All right? So let's get started. Let's talk about the first one. The first one is to be a for-you leader, you need to rely more on the people that you lead and serve. In my experience, leaders sometimes have difficulty really relying on their teams. Now, I think this is largely because they don't appreciate the difference between doers and leaders. Doers and leaders. Those of you that are leaders here today, I'll bet that at some point you were a great doer. Right? You were in some position where you had mad technical skills, you were able to accomplish things, and in fact, it was your ability to roll up your sleeves and get this job done personally that distinguished you and gave you the opportunity to step up into leadership, right? But some of you may have discovered that once you're in a position of leadership, some of those dispositions and habits that distinguished you most as a doer don't serve you as well now that you're in a leadership role. Right? In fact, some of them might even be liabilities. Now, that's because leaders and doers are very different. It's a very different role. Let me illustrate this in part by talking about the perspective that a leader and a doer has. A doer's perspective looks something like this. You can see here that she's a great doer. She's got her eye on the prize, right? In this case, she's focused on building Sunday, making it happen for the people that are coming. And I mean, that's what she is focusing on like a laser. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to get that job done and to do it great. Now, some of you can relate to this, right? This is your perspective. This has been your perspective. And this is a great perspective for doers because doers have to be focused on the outcome and willing to just get in there and make it happen, to do whatever it takes. They'll get whatever knowledge they need. They'll be willing to work as long as it takes. They'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. Now, this is a great perspective for a doer, but this isn't such a great perspective for a leader. And when you become a leader, if you're looking at this sort of end outcome and you're focusing on that, you may find that you've got one particular problem because when you're a leader, you've got this other element in the system. It's called your team. Right? The men and women that you lead. And if you're not careful, if you fail to adjust your perspective from being a doer to a leader, these people can suddenly be impediments, barriers, complications between you and the job you're trying to get done. Right? Now, to fix that, you have to change your perspective. You have to actually look past them because doers are known by their direct impact on outcomes. But leaders are known by their indirect impact on outcomes. In other words, when the smoke clears, the outcome, the results are going to have the doer's fingerprints all over it. But as a leader, especially a for-you leader, your fingerprints, your mark will be on the doers. So that means a leader's perspective has to shift and look a little more like this. Instead of focusing only on the outcome, you've got to think of your team, and that means you have to think differently about how you manage power. When I talk about relying more on the people that you lead and serve, I'm really talking about adjusting your ideas of power. When you're a doer, you want to amass as much power as possible, right? You want the expertise, the knowledge, the influence, because you need that in order to get the job done. But if you're a leader, it's about giving these things away. It's not about you being more powerful, it's about you making others more powerful. It's not about you having influence, it's about you helping your team have more influence. It's not about what you can do and accomplish, it's about what you can equip them to do and accomplish.